Over to you, Erin.
So do no harm. On black, super, forgiveness is the fragrance flowers give when they are crushed.
Susan always has the last word. Sometimes, to get her attention, she even finishes my sentences. Spoken or unspoken, words matter, words inspire, words discourage. Too many, too few, no matter. I've learned to listen more carefully to everything Susan says. To listen more carefully to everything she doesn't say. To hear her joy in her infectious, childlike giggle. To hear in her quivering chin the pain she refuses to speak. From the day we met, with and without words, Susan has asked only one thing of me.
Trade-in, super, Christmas Eve a few years ago. Interior living room night. Susan's infectious childlike giggle and the chirping of a bird blend in synchrony with joyous Christmas music.
It's beautiful. It just needs an angel on top.
As you wish, my angel. This is your tree and your Christmas. Neither would be possible if not for you.
Cameron's hand reaches through an array of blinking colored lights to secure a sand dollar ornament among myriad other ornaments near the top of a Christmas tree. Cameron's forefinger lingers to caress its 5-point star.
You were in pain, yet you sat in the car for an hour until the store manager agreed to sell this display tree. Without your insistence, your patience, your bravery, there is no Christmas. No joy.
Wearing a forest green sweater adorned with snowflakes, Cameron, a trim, graying 50-ish man, turns from the tree to look at Susan, a blonde 50-ish woman lying in a pink nightgown on her hospital bed, her left hand frozen atop Chili, a gray mixed older Siamese cat, her hip pressed against Blondie, a ginger calico. As if beckoned by the radiant light refracted by Susan's engagement ring, Cameron steps down from the ladder next to the tree. A heavy snowfall appears through the window. Pythias, a cockatiel, begins to dance and flutter her wings as Cameron steps towards Susan and starts to sing.
You are my special angel, sent from above. The Lord smiled down upon me and sent an angel to love.
Once at Susan's side, Cameron leans over and they kiss.
There you go then, Penguin. Trying to spoil my makeup, hanging my favorite Christmas ornament, singing my favorite song. But I gotcha. I don't have any on.
The smile from your lips brings the summer sunshine. Your favorite ornament, your favorite song, but how about you? How about your favorite fiance?
Yeah, him too. Is that Bobby Helm's original version or the Vogues you're singing?
By now, it's my version. You should know I sing for no one but you. Pythias knows. She will tell you, she too sings for no one but you. She hisses at my wife and every other woman she's ever met. For you, she sings and dances in absolute ecstasy.
Yes, I do know. You two have a lot in common. Pythias thinks you are her mate. I'm not absolutely sure what you think. If I didn't know you both as well as I do, I'd worry. I am glad you repositioned me on this bed so we can see everything you two do.
Whoa, hold on, Susan. Don't hang the bestiality ornament on me. I could say the same about you and your cat. I remember when you told me you'd rather have sex with Chili than your ex-husband. Bestiality is your fetish.
You're such a charmer. Always know the right thing to say. I had to suck you. You remember perfectly well I was being ebolic, and I make a point about my then loveless marriage.
Most people just exaggerate. Not Susan. Susan is nothing less than hyperbolic on Christmas Eve. No worries, no hyperbolic Susan. I remember context. You should be as certain as I that from the day she met Pythias, from the day she met you, Pythias loves you more than she loves me. Love at first sight. She's like me with you in that way too. Most importantly, she knows she loves your cats. That was, after all, your one precondition to our relationship.
Pythias ducks her head into her food bowl, plucks a kernel of corn and spits it through the bars of her cage onto the floor. Cameron and Susan laugh together.
Favorite trick.
From the day we met. Thank God that's the one trick you two don't share. Yeah, she does love chili. Just like us, they have become constant companions.
They're inseparable, except when your cat takes time out to put his arm around my cat's shoulder. Just like us, our pets are getting pretty good at the harmony thing.
Yes, they are. We mirror them that way. Chili sits beside Pythias's cage, and the better part of every day, you sit by mine. But what's this love at first sight? You told me you loved me before you ever laid eyes on me. At least the real face-to-face, live in flesh me.
It's only words, and words are all I have to steal your heart away.
Words yourself. You were Mr. BG himself first time we talked online.
Okay, I'm one up on Pythias. There, before I ever saw you, you captured my heart with your chat room words. Still, you do have to concede that JPEG you sent of you as an au natural holly dancers embracing that pole was a real head turner.
Truth be known, the girl in that picture isn't me, but Holly is me and I am she.
You were so honest with me, even when you were being devious and deceitful.
I wasn't devious and deceitful for long. I had my reasons, Cameron. You know what they were. I was embarrassed I had deceived you, making you think I was someone other than who I am.
You had a few days in you. Remember that slave tattoo you insisted you had on the inside of your upper thigh? I had to wait until we made love to discover that wasn't true.
It's a blank slate, waiting for your name. I'm yours and yours alone. Surely a man of the world like you knows why women play hide and seek?
No. Tell me, Susan, why do women play hide and seek? Why did you disappear and risk never talking to me again?
You held the answer in your hands only a few minutes earlier.
Ever the enigma? How was that?
The sand dollar, my most treasured ornament. God led me to find that sand dollar on the beach in Italy when I was just 3 years old. It guides me where I need to go. A woman has to be sure a man truly loves her. Only a man who's willing to search, to push through obstacles and adversity, whatever, wherever they may be, is someone I can count on to be there for richer or poorer, in sickness or in health. Do you know what the 5-pointed star of the face of the sand dollar you admire represents?
No, I don't.
Where would you be without me? It's the Star of Bethlehem that guided the wise men to Bethlehem. Christmas is the season I love most, but Christmas isn't about me, Cameron. It's about that little boy, homeless if not for a manger and the kindness of strangers.
Ah, that solves one mystery.
One? Surely you're not baffled by something else.
Susan hums the Munchkin song from The Wizard of Oz.
Your secret screen name you used to hide from me while you were watching whatever I was doing online.
No, Buster. That case is closed. But we should discuss that precondition thing. Your bird loving my cat was only precondition for our relationship I expressed. There is one more thing.
Of course. With you, there's always one more thing. One something more that meets the eye or the ear. I expect no less. There's always another layer to peel. So let me hear it. What is your unspoken precondition to our relationship? And does it replace the other one, the one you expressed before you ever knew? It was Pythias walking on my keyboard texting you.
It's sort of my way of asking the same thing in a different way. We'll just have to see how you do.
Okay, then. Let's end this suspense.
My wish, my unspoken desire is that you sing more.
Susan.
Yes, I know when you were 10, practicing with your church choir, the pastor told you to just move your lips.
Yeah, he did a number on me. And that humiliation pretty much discouraged me from ever wanting to sing or step into a church again.
There are lots of reasons I can't believe he said that, but one is that you have a beautiful voice. God went to a lot of trouble to bring you into my life. He must have had a good reason. What good are you to me if you don't sing? I love music. I have a song for most everything, but the songs I love the most are the ones you sing to me.
Goodbye. No use leading with our chins.
Pastor, enough. Stop. Edit the playlist.
Pastor yourself. Easy for you to say. Now, you were the one who went poof, who disappeared. Since we agreed God made sure I found you in the first place, why did you make God and me work so hard? That first time we talked online, we talked for hours. Then night after night, I couldn't find you. No explanation, not even your template gone with the wind goodbye. The image of your extended front porch goodbyes is forever fixed in my mind.
Cameron's flashback memory, exterior Susan's front porch day. Cameron and Susan stand close together just outside the front door. They embrace and kiss.
Oh, I guess I'd better go on and let you go.
Cameron walks to his car, turns to look at Susan, who is waving forlornly. Cameron adjusts his rearview mirror to see Susan, who continues to wave until he is driven out of sight. End flashback. Interior living room continuous.
We'll have to watch Gone with the Wind together. I'm not so sure I stole that line from Scarlett.
Wherever it came from, it's you.
Once I was certain you were who you are, who I needed you to be, I never hid, never strayed. I never wanted to be apart from you.
Indeed. As I recall, you were the one who moved heaven and earth when we were still only cyber buddies, late night phone pals. To find me, that time I disappeared from my gallbladder surgery. And you, claustrophobic Susan, who always climbs the stairs rather than risk an elevator, you were the one who braved the elevator to be with me, to be at my side after my heart surgery.
Ah, yes, your heart surgery. Oh, I wish I could show you the image forever imprinted on my mind. When you returned from surgery, a surgeon saw how scared I was. You want to know what he told me?
Well, he told me my insurance didn't pay him enough.
Whatever they paid, it wasn't enough.
Susan's flashback memory, hospital recovery room day. From Susan's point of view, dressed in a blue hospital gown, Cameron lies motionless, curled like a fetus on a bed. Susan's hands hide her mouth, but not the distress in her face. The surgeon approaches her.
Will he be all right? He looks so helpless.
He has the strongest heart I've ever seen.
And flashback back to scene.
The only reason he could get away without saying that is he hadn't seen your heart.
Cameron, watching that heavy snow fall through the window gives me the same feeling as our love.
How so?
Love is like snowflake.
As in it melts and goes poof.
No, as in I was cold, but it's like a warm, comforting blanket. No two snowflakes, no 2 days of love are the same. Each day we show our love in a different way. That's why each day I ask you for just one more day of love. Am I asking too much?
No. Loving you is the easiest thing I've ever done. Every day I pray for one more day of our love.
Cameron, the first 3 years of my life, I lived in 11 different countries. These past 3 years, I've been confirmed by the four walls of our living room or a hospital room. Every moment I open my eyes, I see you by my side. Do you remember the promise you made?
Let's see. I promised I would never make you worry. I will always catch you if you fall, and I won't go poof on you. Well, at least till I'm 91. I don't have your eidetic memory, but how's that?
That's it. I promise when you are 91, you will be free to chase a 19-year-old pole dancer. Until then, each day, you recommit to one more day of love with me. Are you sure you still want to marry me?
More than anything in the world, Susan.
Cameron, I think you'd better call the rescue squad.
Cameron sits silent and motionless at Susan's side for an extended moment, looking into her eyes. Cameron flashback sequence. Super, 2 years ago. Exterior community hospital ER entrance, midnight. Cameron parks his car in front of the ER entrance. Looking inside, he sees only 2 people. Susan sits in the passenger seat, leaning against the door in obvious discomfort. Interior community hospital minutes later. Visibly agitated, Cameron talks to a tall, thin, black doctor while Susan lies in a bed. Praying anxiously, a group of nurses huddle in the background.
If she dies, don't be mad at me.
And flashback. Interior living room continuous. Cameron stands, pulls out his cell phone and dials 911.
Please send an ambulance.
Thank you, guys. Sorry you only had one line there, Stewart. I didn't realise.
Don't worry.
You'll get the biggest role in the next one.
You did it perfectly, Stewart.
Thank you.
You nailed
That's
it.
the time.
I mean, I scribbled a million notes on it while I was listening. So shall I kick off?
Okay.
The housekeeping, I like to do formatting, is okay. There's a few caps needed for things like giggle and stuff like that, but it's not bad on formatting, so I haven't got much to say there. The thing that came to mind was, sorry, Fifi, hang on, you can ask some questions in a minute, okay? The thing that came to mind was that old adage, too much tell and not enough show. I don't know how you guys felt, but I also made a note, need scenes that allow you to play out the info in the dialogue. It kind of felt like it needed incidents, a selection of scenes where you could have that conversation, but you could also see some of that stuff happening. I think that's what it needed, really. And it made me think very much of a film. It was a Roald Dahl made for television with Judi Dench and Dustin Hoffman. A few years ago, it's called SEO Trot. It was an old lady who had a turtle or a tortoise as a pet.
Tortoise.
And he was trying to woo her, and it was all kind of going horribly wrong. And I kind of got a feel of that as I was listening to this. I kind of got thinking that was a really lovely observation of 2 people connecting and not connecting, kind of. So that was just, anyway, I'll give it over to Erin, as you were reading and listening to.
I agree with everything what you're saying. I felt like the part where they describe her claustrophobia could have been a really interesting scene. And some of the things that were described in the dialogue could have actually been like a scene where we were shown And the descriptions of who they are, what they look like, are lower than when they first appear. I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember. Oh my gosh, I should have written stuff down because it was in my brain 5 seconds ago. But it was really interesting, the being only like two people and then like all the cats. I don't know. I think I need to be shown more as opposed to so much heavy dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Somebody else take it because I can't remember what else I was going to say.
Stewart.
Okay, so firstly, I thought Catherine read it fantastically. I thought it was really good.
Thank you.
And the second thing was, this could work as a radio play. I thought, just the relationship between the two of them is quite interesting. What was going on? I thought actually Susan. I thought it was really quite a nice touch. It was quite light. The dialogue and the energy was quite light, which I liked. Whereas Cameron was a bit more serious. I don't know whether that was John's way of playing it, but I thought that was quite a nice balance of the light versus the more serious in terms of the characters. I kind of felt I wanted to know where it was going, though. I wasn't quite sure where this was going, and it mentioned a hospital bed. So, question: is she dying? Is she, has she got cancer or something like that? And I just needed a bit
I think it was
more.
he had a heart attack. I think that's where the hospital.
He did.
Yeah.
But what about her?
No, he had heart surgery.
I thought she was in a
heart
hospital
surgery.
bed.
Yeah.
But she's not left the room for however long.
No, she's in a hospital bed in the room.
In the lounge.
Oh, I missed that.
And he's putting up Christmas decorations. That's what I got from it. So,
she's stuck in the home.
So that
I totally missed that bit.
So that for me was like, I wanted to know more about how it had got to this point. In terms of the backstory a bit. I don't know how that could be done, because that's again more telling rather than showing, unless you had more of a backstory and flashbacks. But I kind of wanted to know how the characters have got to where they are from seeing it more.
Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Yeah, I agree with everybody really. I was sitting on the fence with regards to. I wrote down a bit wordy, but that depends on how they see the character. Again, with no description or character breakdown, that would their ages. I'd like to know definitely, because that would make with this 10 pages, that would make a big difference with knowing how old they are. That would bring a different tone.
It tells you that. When it gives you the character description, it said the man was in his 50s and the woman was in her 50s.
Well, sorry, I'm trying to read at the same time. I haven't seen it yet. So, well, I didn't see the agey bit, but 50s again. Well, I don't know. It's I was finding it a little bit difficult to follow. I think it may be just perhaps the way it's played with the Cameron's character. I think would need a tad more because of his dialogue. I think that denotes a very specific character, and I think I'd like some not character breakdown for him, because it was a little tricky to follow without knowing how it's supposed to be heard, if that makes sense. But it'd be interesting to see what happens next. One tiny little thing at the end, it may be imperative to the story. Again, we've only got the first 10 pages, but does it matter that the guy's black at the bottom? Why is the doctor black for some reason? It was just kind of, what's a random thing to suddenly tell us? Yeah. It might be, specific to the story later on, but it was just a bit like, okay, random detail that we don't really need to know. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, I'd like to know what sort of tone they were going for, because that would give me more visual to the piece, because it didn't jump out at me, to be honest. I mean, I missed bits as well, so it wasn't grabbing me so much. It was I was concentrating too much on trying to follow what the hell I was talking about.
If you think in terms of he's putting decorations up on a Christmas tree, she's lying in a hospital bed, and they're remembering the time that he got taken into hospital, they could have a lot of other stuff happening. For instance, even if you're stuck in that one room and you're having that conversation, they could have somebody could turn up at the door with a pizza delivery. They could have, the postman could come. They could have a dog outside barking in the yard and he has to go and deal with it. And they could actually mix in a load of stuff happening so that conversation is around that. I mean,
it
I don't know.
It depends on what they're going for. I mean, there's been quite in recent times, there's been kind of a trend of being quite, for want of a better expression, I don't want to say boring, but very quiet and bland kind of everyday life situations, and a lot of films are very kind of almost plodding, but they slowly entice you. So I'm not sure if maybe that's what they're going for. Again, I don't know the tone in it, and because I don't know that, it's difficult to see with this. It kind of jumps into heavy dialogue without heavy description, and it's I don't know. I couldn't.
John, what came across to you?
How do you put this? It felt more like I was reading a book than a script, because of the way it's formatted. But once again, we say this every time: format. I wasn't sure. The reason why I played it so bland, Catherine, is because...
Oh, no, I wasn't saying you were saying
No, I know. I'm just explaining. The reason I played it like that is purely and simply because there's nothing there that tells me how I'm supposed to be.
No, I know, that's what I mean, but it could be one of those. I wasn't saying you were bland. I'm saying I wasn't saying you were bland at all. There's nothing against you at all, darling.
No. I know you weren't, but I'm just saying that's how I had to play it, because there's nothing in there that tells me whether I'm grieving, whether I'm elated, nothing. So I kind of had to play it middle of the road.
The other danger is, with so much dialogue, page after page after page, your timing is going to be way off.
Yeah. I mean, some of them pages are way more than a minute.
Yeah.
Way more. And some of them, you could flash through them in less than a minute.
I would be really interested to know what sort of, like, what the framing's like. I mean, because that all was so all one like wide shot kind of thing. And it was like, that's boring. But
reaction shots or something,
Well, the reason I did the last line as I did was because I assumed that she's dying.
Yeah.
She died, so, wrapped up emotion, can I have an ambulance now? Because it's too late to pick her up, kind of thing.
Yeah, but if we've got the first 10 pages, we don't know if she dies right at the beginning or if
exactly.
I mean, for all we know, he might be sitting in an empty room and he's having a conversation with a ghost or himself, or who knows?
Exactly. I mean, it could, because he does say, Susan always had words for everything at the beginning. I mean, as he sat in an empty room with a cat and a cockatiel.
And he's just imagining her how she used to be or something.
So that brings a point back to which we always say at the beginning, which is identifying where we are in time. Because if that initial off-screen, which is really a voiceover, I think, rather than off-screen, it is saying now, then we've got Christmas Eve a few years ago, but then we've also got within it another flashback.
Yeah.
So we do, it does need to be clear about time.
I found it confusing at times. It's like who he was talking to as well. Like is it like a narration where he's talking? Is there like it's off screen? So is the narration over action? Like but was he talking to like the camera, or was he talking to Susan, or like sometimes I was very unclear about that. That confused me a little bit.
Well, I thought with the bit at the very beginning where it says off screen, he's talking about Susan.
Yeah.
But you don't know, as you say, Erin, to whom.
Like over the...
Yeah. And one final thing was like, it felt flat.
Yeah. Fifi.
I know there's emotions in there, But
you've been sitting quietly. Would you like to turn your mic on and join us and ask any questions or make any comments, because you listen to it and you've come at this cold?
I have, and I've been absolutely fascinated because this is the first script reading I've been privy to. So it's been an honour to watch and to listen and to see how you bring characters to life. So I missed the first few minutes of intros if you did that. And basically, I myself am a writer, and I am looking to see how to bring my book to life. But in terms of what I've seen this evening, I was fascinated about how you read the work or the words that were written. But more importantly, I think like it was the whole dynamics between the characters. And with Catherine and John, I'm using the names rather than the characters, I felt that there was a massive disjoint. And the disjointedness came from you not knowing your characters and not knowing your relationships to each other. And that could be my simplistic viewpoint, but again, in terms of how John was reacting to what Catherine was saying within the characters themselves, there wasn't this fluidity. There wasn't I believe you've got a relationship, and that I didn't understand where you came from. I watched it from my perspective thinking, this is an interesting space to watch. And Erin made an amazing job as a narrator to bring the two together. But as a whole, if this was something I was jumping into, wanting to find out the story, the narrative, and get to know the people, I felt that was lacking.
Okay. Thanks for that. We're going to have to stop
Angela,
this one.
Sorry,
Yes.
can I just add something? It's
Yes,
interesting. One of the comments you made last time on the other week, last week or the week before, where you were saying that as a script and as people working with a script, we need to know information, even though the audience don't get to see, slowly get the information. We as producers or actors or the people creating this piece need that information. And that's what it seems was lacking here a bit. The relationships, the background, that's kind of all helpful stuff for us bringing this story alive. It's kind of and I'm sure that's very different from a novel. Which
definitely.
The writer of a novel is bringing everything for the reader, aren't they? But
yes, it's a very full package when you with a novel. But for a script writer, it has to be it's a marriage of two things. It's a marriage of story and instruction, and it's a very difficult thing to get the balance right. And scripts actually are really hard. Really good scripts are really hard to read, and because you have to get your head around reading scripts, I always think, and not everybody can read scripts and get the sense of it. Because there needs to be definitely in this more instructions to the director, to the actors. It's a difficult one. Anyway, shall we move on? Thank you for that. That was fabulous.